I kidnapped a man and he got arrested for it.
This is 100% true, and as accurate as I could possibly make it after so much time has passed. I'm 33 now, and I was 19 at the time. At that point in my life, I was basically a criminal and mostly selling drugs. I couldn't find any weed anywhere. So my friend tells me he found some for $300 an ounce, which at the time was actually reasonable. Selling weed wasn't my main thing, but it was good to have around. So I told him I'd take 4 O's. He said he wanted 4 also, but was $300 short, so I agreed to loan it to him. He and another guy, our age, picked me up from my house, and he told me we're picking up a 4th guy. That was the one getting it. We get to his house, and he's immediately shifty and paranoid. He's around 30, yo. Shorter, stocky white guy. He asks if we have a gun on us, which I found suspicious, but I say no. Of course I did. I always had a gun on me back then, no matter where I was going. It's about a 20-minute drive into a pretty rough side of town. I felt something was off, and explicitly said to not let that money leave my sight until I see the weed. Well, we end up at like an abandoned warehouse and park. Eventually, a PT Cruiser pulls up like 10 spaces away from us. This super sketchy-looking white guy wearing a trench coat and shades gets out. He walks over so slowly, and it all felt so off. I said again, do not give him my money until I see what we're buying. Well, trench coat guy gets to the window and immediately he hands him my money. He says he'll be right back. I protest. They try to tell me it's fine. So I pull the pistol out of my pants, put it to the older guy's head, and repeat myself. He starts screaming, "He's got a gun! Bring his money back!" Trench coat guy starts sprinting, gets into his car, and speeds off before we even get our car turned on and moving. So now we're chasing this guy. My friend is driving, and we're in an old box, Scion trying to keep up. He eventually gets away somehow. Well, we pull over, and my friend asks what we're going to do. I said, "We're getting our money back, and I'm keeping this guy until I do." He looks scared, confused, and obviously worked up. He tried to say something, I don't remember what, and I hit him in his forehead with the pistol, telling him to shut up. After some convincing, he agreed that he would take us to Trenchcoat Guy's house. He's crying at this point, which just made me more mad. I know he knew we were going to get robbed. So him sobbing and repeating, "I don't want to die," really wasn't having its intended effect on me. It's been well over 30-45 minutes of driving around with this grown man crying and asking to be let go. So quite obviously armed kidnapping at this point, which in the state I lived can easily get you a life sentence. Never mind the pistol whipping and death threats. I wasn't actually going to shoot him either way. Worst case, I would have driven to the worst projects around, made him strip, beat him up a little more, and left him over an hour away from home naked. Luckily, that didn't happen. We make it to his house, and what do I see? His mom and kids are in the front yard hanging out. These are little kids, and I started to question what I was doing and feel bad because I don't want them to know what's happening and get scared. Well, apparently Trenchcoat and Stocky Guy are besties, and the mom knows him well. We're parked in the driveway, and he's still crying. Has a couple light red marks on his face, and Mom notices him. He's begging to be let out of the car. Fuck no. She walks over, though, and asks how he is and what's going on. He tells her we're there to meet Trenchcoat, and he's on the way. She seemed suspicious. I felt this situation going bad, but I wanted my money back. He finally convinced me to let him stand outside of the car. I agreed, but as long as he stands next to my window and I hold on to his arm. 10-15 minutes go by. Nothing. Suddenly a police car drives past, and I know what's coming. I tell the driver that we need to go now. He says I'm being paranoid and we made it this far, so might as well wait. Next thing you know, 2 cop cars come from each side and box us in. I push the guy away, and I basically flick my wrist with the gun to throw it out without my hand being seen. I was so scared because in that city at the time, the cops were well known for shooting first and asking questions later. The gun goes flying and the cops freak out. They rush at the car, guns out, screaming. I swear to God that they slammed him on high ahead and then pulled driver and passenger out of the window and did the same to them. I have no idea why, but they let me get out of the car on my own, at gunpoint of course. Well, they separated us all into different police cars. I just knew I was fucked and going to jail. After a half hour or so, they come to me and ask if I want to tell the truth. Now, I've always looked younger than I am, but have also always been way more bad than I looked, especially then. I told them, "IK, what's going on, sir? I only came along with my friends to smoke weed, which I know is wrong, and I'm sorry. I honestly didn't see a gun at all." After some back and forth, they said, "That older guy is a shitbag for getting you kids into this mess. Whether you want to tell us or not, we know it was his gun, and that he made y'all come here to collect money. He's going to jail. You seem like a good kid. You need to stay on the side of town that you live on, because you don't know the dangerous people in this area. We're letting you kids go. That scumbag is going to jail for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, a 3-year minimum prison sentence in that state." Well, I wasn't going to argue or say it was mine. They didn't believe anything he said, and the other two told them that it was his gun. I didn't say anything even after they told me what was happening. I guess Trenchcoat called them and only said that some guy with a gun is at his mom's house saying he owes money. I lost $1,500 and the gun that I threw out. But I kept my freedom. I don't know what happened to him after that. I did see him once, and he just put his head down and left as soon as he could. So, yeah, that's the time that I was 19 and kidnapped a grown man in his 30s, and he got arrested for it.
Mental health is very important, apparently.
For context, I belong to a South Asian family that came from Asia in the early 2000s. My dad has a brother that's older than him, and he has 2 sons. They live in America, and they hate my dad and our family for some reason, which isn't really clear, but it seems it's because we have more money than them. Story. My dad's brother's son, let's call him Jack, 30M, had a wife who he married after running away with her and not listening to his parents. Let's call her Julie, 28F. Well, after they got a court marriage and came back to their home, the dad, Ron, 58M, didn't approve as he didn't like the girl. So once they started to plan their official social marriage, he verbally abused Julie and pushed her to a point where she left Jack, and before she left, they had a physical fight. He slapped her, and she threw his PS4 and phone at him, and he retaliated by breaking her phone. Anyway, after she left, she wouldn't sign the divorce papers, and which ensured he could never remarry. The abuse from Ron to Jack went on for a couple months, and then the day came where Jack lost it and woke up selling his home, his car, his law firm, emptying his bank account, and donated everything to some charity. After doing that, he threatened the family that he was going to go live in the jungle and never come back. He would act like a monkey and run around. Ron and his wife didn't care and told him to leave. He left for a day and came back, as he couldn't find the jungle in North Carolina at all. He clearly has a mental illness, and everyone knows it. But because we are Asian, mental health is considered weak and for the crazy. So his mental condition has kept deteriorating, and his parents continue to abuse him and favor Jack's brother, causing bad blood. Since our religion believes in black magic and the ability to harness the evil, we believe her mom to be practicing it to cause harm to people she doesn't like or want. My family religiously believes this, as even me, a skeptic, have seen shit happen, which I can't explain. But anyway, just thought I'd share this because this dysfunctional, abusive, and evil family has been causing harm to families for many years, and mental health is crucial for everyone. We also think that the mom did something to her, Ron and Julie, to make them have such a bad relation and eventually forcing her to leave. As for the mom, they stayed at our house back in 2010, and when they left, odd, strange things happened to my family. My dad got laid off and my mom suddenly needed surgery for her throat. A day when cleaning, we found an odd, strange packet with red ribbon on it with some letters on it. We burned it, and in a couple hours, my dad gets a call from his job, and my mom's surgery never went through, as the doc called it a misdiagnosis. Again, I was 7 at this time, so this is what my parents have told me, and I am typing this as they talk about these stories. Thanks for reading, and sorry for spelling and grammar.
Thank you for watching Reddit Stories. Please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. May you all have a blessed day.